Have you ever wondered how to get consistent leads, grow your business, and create content that actually earns you money? Then you're in the right place. I'm Danielle Gagnon, a search engine optimization specialist and content creation enthusiast, committed to helping small business owners turn their passion into profit online. I've spent years learning how to create content that organically and massively grows a business. I created the Content Cash Machine podcast to give you simple, actionable strategies that even the smallest businesses can use to earn more money online and do it all without spending hours on social media or thousands of dollars on ads. If you're an entrepreneur with big dreams or a big dreamer who wants to be an entrepreneur, then this show is for you. Let's get started. Hey everybody, welcome to the Content Cash Machine podcast. Today I have 𝗚𝗲 Martin with me. 𝗚𝗲 is a veteran brand and communication strategist with 10 plus years of experience and the owner of Fame and Fortune. Fame and Fortune helps brands share their messages through a host of public relations and marketing tools. 𝗚𝗲 received her bachelor's degree from Western Kentucky University in broadcast journalism and her master's in business administration from Midway University. In 2019, she was named Public Relations Society of America's Rising Star. 𝗚𝗲 formerly worked in public relations for Amazon, 𝗚𝗏𝘁, 𝗂𝘲𝑃, and the International SPA Association. 𝗚𝗲 produces and hosts a podcast called Selfish, a show dedicated to self-care for entrepreneurs. 𝗚𝗲, I'm really excited to chat with you today.
Yay, Danielle. Thank you so much. I'm excited to talk with you as well.
So I'm a former journalist as well. So I love that you have that background. And I think that it gives a unique perspective to a lot of fields, but especially the field of public relations and media relations.
Yeah, doesn't it kind of like just give you that behind the scenes look of like what was happening in the newsroom? And so like, yeah, now that I work in public relations, it's kind of just spinning the tables a little bit and really getting to work it from the other angle.
Yeah, I love that. So I'd love to hear a little bit about how you went from, working in public relations for some of these big companies to having your own business.
Yeah. So as you mentioned, I have a 10-year career in public relations, and I have ran the public relations for companies like Amazon, the International Spa Association. And then when I was at 𝗚𝗏𝘁, I worked on the media team for the 𝗚𝗏𝘁 FEI World Equestrian Games. So I was working with thousands of global journalists. And then most recently worked with the jewelry brand 𝗂𝘲 on local activation. But I went through a series of layoffs, and so I really kind of fell into it. And that's really the beauty of it. I know several friends that I've had for many years recall me saying years ago that I would never own my own business. I was very adamant about it. But, after those layoffs, I just kind of looked to God and said, like, what are you trying to tell me? Like, what's going on here? I still feel like it wasn't something that I wanted to do. So I had several friends that kind of, as I was really determining what my next step was going to be, said like, hey, can you help me with this? And like, I could just pay you a project fee. And I actually had 2 or 3 of those. And when I kind of looked at what I was bringing in, working on those projects, I was like, wait, like I can do this. This can be something where if I just get 1 or 2 more of these, I'm making way more than what I was making before. So it really just kind of clicked in my head then that like, oh, this isn't as hard as I was making it out to be. Don't get me wrong. There's hard days. There's hard days. But, that was really how I fell into becoming an entrepreneur and making it official.
I love that. And I agree, actually. Obviously, there are hard days and there's hard things about it. But I think so many of us build up this idea of like owning a business to be this like extreme, terrifying thing where you have to have this like huge team and like tons of money to start and all these things. And it's really not like that. I mean, I started in a very similar way. I just sort of was like, I'm tired of my 9-to-5 job. I'm tired of having a boss. I'm just going to like try to get some random projects and see what happens. And then it turned into a whole thing.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, I guess I always looked at freelancers as different than company owners, but like really they can be one and the same. And you can become a company owner by being a freelancer. And, it doesn't have to be this like scraping the bottom of the barrel to make it by kind of mentality.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'd love to hear a little bit more about what are you actually doing in your business today?
Yeah, so Fame and Fortune works with small business owners to develop strategic social media and then also proactive public relations. And so what I mean by this is so many business owners come to me and say like, I really just need to nail the social media thing. And especially, during the pandemic, there were so many businesses that had to close their storefronts and relied solely on their online presence. And so we utilize conversion copywriting in that social media presence so that we're really getting our followers to take action. They're not just following you and kind of keeping up with what's, on your latest agenda. They're actually moving the needle and taking action. And then with proactive public relations, we are looking at what those stories are coming down the line and pitching you for those interviews. So it's not just kind of seeing an opportunity and nabbing it. We're taking that proactive approach to get you in the spotlight.
Yeah, I love that. I can't wait to hear more about that because I think social media obviously is so important. Everyone needs it. I feel like everyone has questions about it, but I think a lot of businesses think of media relations or getting featured in the media as like the elusive, like white whale, to use like a literature reference, yes. Like this big thing that like this average person can't just go get featured in the media. I think it becomes this like big thing. And so I'd love to hear from you. Like, is that a common misconception? Are there other common misconceptions or like mistakes you see people making when it comes to actually getting featured in the media?
Yeah, there's a couple of things, and you hit the nail on the head with really the major one that I see as far as the media world just seems so mysterious to people. They either lump it in with like kind of a negative connotation with the media, but also just like, how do I start? Like, what's the first thing I do? And I think also there's this mentality that like you can't make it on those big shows. Like last year alone, I was on the Rachel Ray show and I was on CNN's Anderson Cooper. And, those are things that I was pitching for and achieved. And so it's not unobtainable, and you just really have to kind of know where to start.
That's super cool. So you're going to teach me how to get on Rachel Ray because I've been watching her for years. I'd love that.
Oh my gosh, me too. She's well, I'll just say this. She's super sweet. Like she's one of those people that like, you kind of are like, I hope you're as nice in person as you are, like as you appear on TV, but like she really is. She's super kind and down to earth and made me feel so welcome.
Oh, that's good to hear. That would have been really disappointing if she wasn't.
Right. I know. Totally would have changed my mind on her.
I know. So let's get into this a little bit more because I do think that a lot of business owners think there's no way that they could ever be featured in the press. They think, they're not famous. They're super small. No one's ever heard of them. So what do you say to a business owner who's feeling this way?
That is absolutely not true. You have to start somewhere. And so maybe it's not Anderson Cooper or Rachel Ray, but you start with your local news. And kind of how I work with clients that have never gotten media coverage before is we look at their local markets and we establish what that presence is going to be there. We get them media features in that local market, and then we use those local features to pitch them to higher and bigger media outlets. So maybe we're taking those 3 or 4 local interviews and we're going to an industry publication and we're saying, hey, this person is great on camera. Here is a feature where they gave some great tidbits, and this can be something that we replicate for your publication. And then you have those industry hits that you can then take to national publications and national outlets and pitch that way. I'll say sometimes it doesn't follow that chain, but really that's kind of, you're not going to go big time right from the start, but there's definitely a process that we can get you there.
Yeah. So let's dig into that a little bit more. If someone is listening to this and they're like, okay, I'm doing it, I want to start getting featured in the media, what is like the very first thing they need to do?
Yep. So I would say look at a local outlet if you haven't been featured locally, what does the feature look like on the website that would be similar to what you're looking to achieve? If it's being interviewed by one of those outlets, watch their